Hi, this is Sean from BatteryBlocs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a lithium-ion battery that will replace a 12-volt lead-acid battery. We're going to use cells that my friends over at Battery Hookup have. I've got a link in the description that'll send you to them. So, without further ado, let's go. Okay, to start, let's grab a red piece and a black piece. These holes are going to be sitting up. It's going to be sitting like this on the ground. Okay, we'll put them together like this, and we'll slide in these connectors. You can see that these are red and black connected together. That's because this is the bottom of the battery and it is a series connection. Anytime you install these plates, be sure and check that all the magnets are there and that there is only one magnet. If you are missing a magnet, the cell will not make contact with the plate. Okay, so I've checked. They're good. We'll slide it in. Okay, I'm roughly lining up these magnets with the ovals that the cells are going to sit in. Battery blocks are made with tough PETG plastic, the same plastic that's used on drinking bottles. Okay, so there we've got those two together. Let's start putting in the cells. Here's the 26650 cell. This is the positive terminal. And positive goes to red. So they go in there like this with the flat side up. You'll feel that magnet sort of hold it in place. Snaps it down in there. Okay. Okay, there's 30 cells installed. If you get one in the wrong way, of course, just pull it out. Be sure that the magnet isn't stuck to it and reverse it. Okay, we'll take a look. Yep, everything's right. The flat sides are all up. They're all good. Okay, now these go with the black to the black, negative to negative. You can make a little adjustments if you need to. I could see they weren't quite lining up right in this last one. By sliding the plate. Alright, well there's 60 cells in there and it's taking shape. It's becoming pretty solid. Okay, we'll go on to the next phase. So, this is the very bottom of the battery. Everything's going to be stacked on top of it. Alright. Next we put the tops on. Since this is black, this gets a red top. This is red, it gets a black top. You put these on without the metal plates inside. Put the plates on second. This is probably the most fiddly part of the whole thing. I like to start at one side, sort of like this. You see it's uneven and up a little bit. And work my way across. That went on a little bit easier. Let's try this side, see if I get as lucky. This goes in like this. And so what I'm doing, I'm just slowly pushing it down and working the cells, working my way across, finding the cells that are hanging it up and moving them towards the middle. Like I said, this is the fiddly part of the thing. There's the one that's hanging it up. There's another one. Okay, so now it's down. You can see it's seated. And now we have the task of sliding these in. These are the bent pieces. The bent pieces go up like this because they're going to join to the piece that's above it. But if we tried sliding them in like this, the magnets, we stand a good chance of the magnets coming off, or we wouldn't be sure the magnets made it. So I've included in every kit a piece of steel like this, and we just go, oh, let the magnets grip this instead, lift it up a bit, slide it in, and slide it out. Okay. 2. 3. Now I can slide this a little bit and line up these holes with the so that they go through easily through the batteries. These are the nut retainers, and what they do is they go right in here, and so you can put one in there and be sure that you've got enough room between these uprights and the battery for that to fit. Okay, that's one side. Let's get the other side. This is my favorite part. All right, and again, we'll check the spacing with this, be sure that it's good. All right, now we've got to put the nuts and bolts in that hold all this together. So I'm going to turn it on its side. And see, this back side here doesn't have any parallel connectors, so we use these plates across the back. That's not glue, that's the magnets holding that on there. Okay, and we need the same thing for this side too. Okay, and now we use the nylon nuts and bolts and we bolt it all together. I am going to, each one has a little washer on it. A washer on one side and a washer on the other. I'm going to turn off the camera and get back to this because this is just going to take me 5 minutes. It's boring. Okay. All right, there we go. They're all loosely installed. I can spin them all. I'll rotate this so you can see. Here's the part where it'll connect to the next side. Okay. I like using a nut driver to do the tightening. This does not have a clutch on it, and I'm not taking it all the way. Let me show you what happens if you get one of these too tight. It makes a clicking noise. You hear that? That click there meant that it just skipped a thread, stripped a thread. You can still use it, but don't get it that tight. Get it before it does that. Stop before it goes there. How do you know where to stop? Try a few. You'll get it. So I'll come around to the back, 30. Of course, you can do this by hand as well. I just do so many of them. I always use my nut driver. By the way, this is a DeWalt electric screwdriver. It's got a twist torque on it, so you hold the button, it doesn't run, but then when you twist it, it turns on and goes in the direction that you turn it. I love it. I think it's probably the tool I reach for the most. Alright, so now we've got this bottom part assembled. Great, that looks good. When we put these two nut retainers in, we see that they fit. They fit in there okay. That's good. So now we're going to build the top stack, and the top stack is just going to sit on top of this. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to need, of course, 2 of these. And these, like here, they face up, but they're going to sit like this. The red's going to go on top of the black, and the black's going to go on top of the red. They're going to sit like this. Okay? And so we'll take them off like this, and we'll start by putting in the appropriate... Camera's out of focus, huh? The appropriate retainers. The blacks, of course, will slip in here. They're going to go like this with this little bend down so that they can go over the bend of the piece that we just built. So go ahead and slide these in. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab this nut strip and set it over here so I get the spacing pretty good. And now let's just go ahead and populate this side. This is black, which means that the flat side goes on it. Let's move a bit. I'll reset it. Reset it. Okay, so they're all in the black side. Now I'll go ahead and grab another red retainer and line up the brass threaded inserts here so that it fits here. We'll get it on. Okay, that was easy. Now this one here is going to be the positive terminal of the battery when it's done, and so it's not connected to anything else. So we have these individual plates which go right on top here. Again, you could slide it in the slots like this, but the danger is that the magnets will come off in the wrong places. You're rubbing it across the battery. So we use the steel strip. Line it up, slide it in, and then with some pressure, slide the steel strip out, and it works like a charm. Okay, let's get the other two. Okay. All right. So now we've got this side built. Now let's go over to this side. This side is red, and it's going to fit over here on top like this, so the L things have to come down and connect here. So we'll put the L's in. Here's an L, it goes in like this, so that it can come down and connect to the nuts and bolts over here. I think all this will be a little bit easier to see when you have your battery in front of you. Okay, those are in. I'm going to use this nut bar as a spacer. Okay, and now let's populate it. Again, obviously, the positive goes down towards the positive. When you start putting these cells in, they start holding these magnetic retainers in place. Can you see this okay? Okay, so they're all sitting there. I do a double check to be sure I've got them all in the proper orientation. All right, and now let's put the black retainer on top. This will be the negative terminal of the battery. I see the camera's trying to autofocus. Let's see if that'll help. All right, let's slide this on. As I said, this is the most fiddly part of the whole thing. All right. And this is going to be the positive terminal. Nothing is attached to it. So these bars slide in here like this. Again, we'll use our cheater. Slide them in. And of course, once it's in, you can always move it around a little bit and align it. All right, so now we've got these two halves built, and I'll show you how they're going to go. They're going to sit right on top like this. Okay, right on top of the whole battery like that. But first, we have to nut and bolt them. So let's take them off and nut and bolt them. Okay, the other thing that goes here, since these are the terminals, on each of these, we have to have a positive terminal. So this is where you're going to bolt your the lead that goes to whatever you're running on the positive side, and here's where the negative terminal goes. All right? And then, because these are, we need to connect these in parallel, and so we use one of, these three strips. The magnets tend to hold them in place, and they can go just about anywhere on here, as long as they connect it this way. You can see what I've done. Not quite like that. Not quite that more anywhere like that. Okay, I'm just gonna, rinse and repeat. I can turn the camera off and I'll get to it, turn it back on when all right, now we've got all the bolts through, and here's the positive terminal for the battery, and here's where it joins the bottom half, and I've got this in here as a spacer. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my nut driver and tighten up these nuts. Okay, and I'll just set this aside for the moment, and we'll go on to the next one. And this is the negative terminal for the whole battery, and here's where this folds over and joins here. So I'll go ahead and tighten the nuts. Alright, now I've got these two halves done. All the batteries are secure. I'll pull this back into the picture so that we can see it. And here we have this half, which we just did. And here's these pieces. So I'm just going to set it on top here, like that. And you can see how these align. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'll put my nut holder in first. This little plastic piece holds 3 nuts to make bolting these two sides together easy. And then this can just slide on top like that. Okay, coming over here. Slide that on. And then that goes on the top. Okay, now we use these little very short 1/4 inch nuts or bolts, and I'm going to have to turn this around so I can see it, but all you do is you bolt right through these two pieces, bolting them together and going into the nut held in place by this plastic piece. So I'm going to shut off the camera because I have to turn this towards me to get these all started. Okay, so now all we do is tighten up these. And there we have it. We've got a pretty nice, strong battery right like that. This piece goes in the center. It's got some little chamfers in there for these screws. So I'll try and do this sideways here. These inserts here have got rib nuts glued in, so they're threaded. So we'll just get this started. This ties all these cases together. It makes it even more structural. Okay, and these ends, as you can see, these pieces are round on top and flat on the bottom. This is the part that goes on the bottom, is the flat spot, so that it can sit level on the ground. And the one that goes over here. Oops. It's not this one. This one. Okay, now we can tighten these up. Okay, let's do the other side of this. Start with this. Oops. And bottom two. Oh, I heard that one hit the floor. Get in there to see what's going on. There we go. All these plastic pieces are made of PETG plastic, and that's the same tough plastic that drinking bottles are made out of. So it's a somewhat flexible plastic, but it's very durable. Okay, and the last piece. Get the screw that fell on the floor. So there we have it. A very tough battery. And we'll do one more thing here. We've got a strap for it, carrying handle. Don't put anything else between these two terminals, of course, or you will have a really, really big mess on your hands, as everything explodes and melts. But this will give us a way of carrying the battery, because it is heavy. Got a lot of, got 120 cells in this thing. So, there it is. This is, can we tighten it up? There it is. And here's the battery box in which it fits. It's a snug fit, but it does fit. All right, I hope that gives you enough instructions to build this with. Thanks for watching.